Ambassador Sarah Chun stood in the marble corridors of the Galactic Council's primary building on Zarian Prime, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched the datapad containing humanity's final warning. The ornate halls buzzed with the chittering, growling and harmonious voices of 100 different species, all united in their dismissal of Earth's concerns. "The humans want another audience," laughed Counselor Vexthara, her crystalline form refracting the ambient light into prismatic. Mockery. What catastrophe do the Deathworlders imagine this time? Chun had heard it all before. For 3 standard years, she'd presented the same data. Gravitational anomalies in the outer rim, entire star systems going dark, the unmistakable signature of something vast consuming stellar matter. The entity wasn't just feeding, it was. Growing, learning, adapting. Earth's deep space monitoring stations had tracked its trajectory. It would reach the inner spiral arms within 2 decades. "Distinguished counselors," Chun began, her voice steady despite the jeers echoing through the chamber. "The Devour entity has consumed 12 systems in the past cycle. Our projections show projections from primitives who only achieved interstellar travel 2 centuries ago," interrupted High Counselor Zephyx, his serpentine neck coiling with amusement. "Your species sees threats in shadows because you evolved from prey animals." The chamber erupted in what passed for laughter among the assembled delegates. Chun felt the familiar burn of humiliation, but beneath it simmered something else. Cold determination that her predecessors had warned her about. Humanity's patience wasn't infinite. "We're offering to share our gravitational resonance technology," Chun continued, raising her voice above the din. "Combined with your quantum shielding and the Altarian temporal deflectors, we could create a barrier." "Enough," Zephix's voice boomed. "The Council has spoken on this matter repeatedly. Earth will not be granted a seat until your species proves it can contribute something beyond paranoid fantasies. This session is closed." As the delegates filed out, their conversations already shifting to trade negotiations and territorial disputes, Chun remained motionless. Her neural implant chimed softly a priority message from Earth's shadow cabinet. She read it twice, her face growing pale. Admiral Marcus Rodriguez materialized via hologram beside her, his weathered face grim. How did they respond to the final offer? "Same as always," Chun replied, her voice barely audible. "They think we're delusional primitives." Rodriguez nodded slowly. "And God help us all, Ambassador. God help them all. Project Leviathan is green-lit. 48 hours. The hologram flickered out, leaving Chun alone in the empty chamber. She looked up at the magnificent dome above, decorated with the symbols of 2,000 worlds united in prosperity and peace. Soon they would learn what humanity was truly capable of when pushed beyond its breaking point dot in the depths of space. 13 light years away, humanity's greatest secret began its final preparations. The price of being ignored was about to be paid in spectacular fashion. Dr. Elena Vasquez floated in the zero-gravity command center of the Prometheus, humanity's most classified vessel, hidden in the asteroid field of the Kepler 442 system. Around her, holographic displays showed the real-time positions of Earth's entire deep space fleet ships. The Galactic Council didn't even know existed. "Final systems check complete," reported Captain James Park from his position at the tactical station. His Korean heritage showed in the precise way he articulated each word, a habit developed during his years in Earth's shadow fleet. "All vessels report green across the board." Elena studied the gravitational map of their target, Dothzuan, a mining world controlled by the Council, but currently uninhabited due to seasonal atmospheric storms. Perfect for their demonstration. Her fingers danced across the quantum interface, fine-tuning the resonance frequencies that would soon reshape galactic politics forever. "Ma'am," interrupted Lieutenant Sophia Reyes, the youngest member of their crew at 26. Her dark eyes reflected both excitement and terror. Are we really going through with this? I mean, actually splitting a planet? Elena paused her calculations. The crew deserved honesty. The Council has ignored 17 formal warnings about the Devourer entity. Our deep space monitoring stations have tracked it consuming matter equivalent to 47 Earth masses in the past year alone. They call us primitives, but we're the only ones taking this threat seriously. Because we know what it's like to face extinction, added Chief Engineer Dmitry Petrov, his Russian accent thick with emotion. My grandfather survived the resource wars. He told me stories about how governments ignored climate data until cities were underwater. Some lessons only stick when demonstrated dramatically. Captain Park's comm system chimed. Admiral Rodriguez is requesting final confirmation codes. Elena closed her eyes, thinking of her daughter back on Earth, of the billions of beings across the galaxy who had no idea what was coming from the outer rim. The Devourer entity's hunger was inexorable, and unity was their only hope for survival. Transmit confirmation, she ordered. All ships, begin Phase 1 positioning. Across the asteroid field, 12 vessels emerged from hiding, each one a masterpiece of human engineering that had taken decades to perfect. They moved with predatory grace toward their coordinates, their gravitational resonance arrays powering up with barely contained energy. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's voice crackled over the comm from the Einstein. Elena, the calculations are perfect. When we trigger this, every gravitational detector in the galaxy will register the signature. They'll know exactly what we're capable of. That's the point, Elena replied. They've spent centuries underestimating us because we're young and aggressive. Time to show them that aggression paired with intelligence is the most dangerous combination in the universe. On the main display, Dothsuan rotated peacefully, its surface scarred by mining operations, but beautiful in its own way. In 6 hours, it would become 2 separate worlds, a demonstration that would echo across the galaxy. Lieutenant Reyes spoke quietly. My sister always said humans were too stubborn to die quietly. Elena smiled grimly. Let's hope she was right. Because if this doesn't get their attention, nothing will. The silence of space embraced them as humanity prepared to announce its presence with the most devastating show of force in galactic history. Asterisk, the moment arrived. With mathematical precision. Dr. Elena Vasquez watched the countdown timer reach 0. As 12 human vessels formed a perfect dodecagon around the doomed planet Dothsuan. Each ship hummed with barely contained gravitational energy, their resonance arrays locked onto the planet's core with surgical accuracy. All stations report. Ready, Captain Park announced, his voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were about to unleash. Target is clear of all life signs. Gravitational resonance at optimal frequency. Elena's hands hovered over the activation controls. In the view screen, Dothsuan spun serenely, its orange-brown surface marked by deep mining scars. A dead world. But Council property chosen specifically to avoid casualties while maximizing political impact. Remember, she said to her crew, we're not destroyers. We're teachers. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity doesn't make idle threats. She pressed the activation sequence. Reality convulsed. The gravitational resonance wave struck Dothsuan's core with the precision of a cosmic scalpel. For a heartbeat, nothing seemed to happen. Then the planet's rotation began to slow, its surface rippling like liquid as gravitational forces far beyond natural physics took hold. Lieutenant Reyes gasped. Mother of God, look at the energy readings. The planet's equator bulged outward. As internal stresses mounted beyond the breaking point, massive chunks of crust began separating, but instead of exploding chaotically, they moved with deliberate purpose, guided by humanity's gravitational manipulation technology. Phase 2. Initiation, Elena commanded. The 12 ships, adjusted their resonance frequencies in perfect synchronization. The planet's northern and southern hemispheres began pulling apart along a precise equatorial line, as if an invisible giant was gently separating an orange dot. Dr. Tanaka's voice crackled from the Einstein. Elena, this is incredible. The gravitational shear is creating two stable orbital bodies. We're essentially giving birth to twin worlds. On screens throughout the fleet, the impossible became reality. Dothzuan split cleanly in two, each half retaining enough mass to maintain spherical shape under its own gravity. The two new worlds began orbiting each other in a complex dance, their shared atmosphere creating brilliant auroras where magnetic fields intersected. Chief Engineer Petrov laughed with pure amazement. 30 years of theoretical work, and it's even more beautiful than the simulations. Captain Park was already coordinating the next phase. All ships begin withdrawal to safe distance. Commence galaxy-wide transmission on all frequencies. Elena activated the communication array personally. This message would reach every inhabited world simultaneously, carried by quantum entanglement networks that connected the galaxy's civilizations. People of the Galactic Council, her voice began, transmitted across thousands of light years instantaneously. For 3 years, Earth has warned you of an approaching threat. For 3 years, you have ignored our data, dismissed our expertise, and mocked our concerns. The twin worlds of what had been Dothzuan continued their orbital dance in the background, impossible and undeniable. What you have just witnessed was a demonstration. The gravitational resonance technology that split this world could have been used to create defensive barriers against the Devourer entity. Instead, we were forced to prove our capabilities through spectacle. Elena paused, letting the magnitude sink in across the galaxy. This was Earth's warning shot. The next demonstration will not target an empty world. We seek unity, not conquest. We offer cooperation, not domination. But we will no longer be ignored while the galaxy faces extinction. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, emergency sessions were already being called. Humanity had finally gotten the Council's attention. The Galactic Council's emergency session convened 18 hours after Dothzuan became two worlds. High Counselor Zephix's serpentine form coiled tightly around his speaking platform, his usual composure shattered by the implications of humanity's demonstration. The humans have committed an act of unprecedented aggression, he declared to the packed chamber. They destroyed a council-controlled world without authorization. Ambassador Chun sat in the previously empty Earth delegation section, no longer the desperate diplomat pleading for attention. News feeds from across the galaxy showed the same image. Twin worlds orbiting each other, where once a single planet had spun. Every physicist, every military strategist, every political leader in known space was asking the same question. How? Counselor Vexthara's crystalline form flickered with agitated light patterns. Our best scientists estimate that the energy required for such precision would exceed the output of 3 solar cores. The humans shouldn't possess such technology. Yet they do, interrupted Admiral Kethver of the Centaurian Defense Corps, his blue-scaled hide reflecting the chamber's lighting. My tactical analysts have reviewed the gravitational data. This wasn't a weapon of mass destruction. It was a surgical demonstration of absolute control over fundamental forces. A nervous murmur rippled through the assembly. Representatives who had mocked Earth's warnings now studied the data packets. Chun had distributed, their expressions growing increasingly concerned. Honored counselors, Chun began, her voice carrying new authority. Earth's message was clear. This was a warning, not an attack. Dothzuan was uninhabited, chosen specifically to avoid casualties while demonstrating our capabilities. Your capabilities? Zephix's voice rose to a near shriek. You mean your ability to threaten entire worlds? Chun stood slowly, her posture radiating calm confidence. I mean our ability to manipulate gravitational forces with sufficient precision to defend against the Devour entity. The same technology that split Dathzoan could create gravitational barriers, redirect stellar consumption, or destabilize the entity's own structure. The chamber fell silent. For the first time in centuries, delegates were actually listening to Earth's representative, Dr. Mikhail Volkov, Earth's chief scientist, materialized via hologram beside Chun. His weathered face bore the exhaustion of sleepless nights spent perfecting humanity's most guarded secrets. Distinguished beings, Volkov began. The gravitational resonance demonstration represents 30 years of theoretical physics, backed by humanity's understanding of survival under pressure. We developed this technology because we had to, because we recognized that extinction-level threats require extinction-level responses. He activated a holographic display showing the Devour entity's projected path. Current consumption rate indicates it will reach the Perseus arm within 15 standard years. Your trade routes, your colonies, your homeworlds, all will be consumed unless we act together. Counselor Vextara's light patterns shifted to deep blues, a sign of contemplation. Among her species. Even if we accept your projections as accurate, what guarantee do we have that humanity won't use this technology against Council worlds? Chan smiled grimly. Because we need you alive to help us fight what's coming. Genocide doesn't serve our interest, survival does. But make no mistake, Earth will no longer be dismissed or ignored. We've proven we can reshape worlds. Now we're offering to help save them. The chamber erupted in heated debate as delegates struggled to process this fundamental shift in galactic power dynamics. Some called for sanctions against Earth. Others demanded immediate military action. But a growing number began asking the question Chun had been waiting to hear. What do you need from us? Admiral Kethver raised his hand for silence. Council members, we face a choice. We can treat this demonstration as an act of war and potentially destroy our best hope against the Devour entity. Or we can recognize that the humans have forced us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the most dangerous allies make the most effective partners. High Counselor Zivix's coils tightened further. You're suggesting we reward their aggression? I'm suggesting we recognize their effectiveness, Kethver replied. They achieved in 18 hours what 3 years of diplomacy could not. Our complete attention and serious consideration of their warnings. The vote that followed would reshape galactic civilization forever. 6 months after Dathzoan became 2 worlds, the largest fleet in galactic history assembled at the edge of the Perseus arm. Ships from 1,000 different worlds formed defensive lines that stretched across 3 star systems. Their combined firepower representing the united military might of the Galactic Council. And at the fleet's heart, humanity's gravitational resonance vessels prepared for the most important battle in galactic history. Admiral Sarah Chun promoted. From ambassador after the Council's historic vote stood on the Bridge of the Unity, watching long-range sensors track the approaching Devour entity. The creature had grown since Earth's first warnings, its mass now equivalent to a small star, its appetite seemingly infinite. All Council fleets report ready, announced Captain Park, now serving as Chun's tactical coordinator. The Altarian temporal deflectors are online, Centaurian plasma cannon arrays are charged, and the Zarian quantum mines are deployed along the projected approach vector. Dr. Elena Vasquez coordinated the gravitational resonance array from her station. Resonance. Calculations are locked in. When that thing hits our gravity well, it's going to experience forces no living entity has ever encountered. The months since the Dathzoan demonstration had transformed galactic civilization. Fear of humanity's capabilities had given way to grudging respect, then genuine partnership, as the scope of the approaching threat became undeniable. Earth scientists worked alongside the galaxy's finest minds, sharing technologies that had been classified for decades. "Entity contact in 30 minutes, reported Lieutenant Reyes, now serving as the fleet's communications coordinator. "It's magnificent and terrifying." On the main display, the Devour entity resolved into visible detail. It resembled a massive jellyfish made of condensed stellar matter, its translucent body pulsing with the absorbed energy of consumed stars. Tentacles of gravitational force extended for millions of kilometers, already beginning to distort space-time around the defensive. Perimeter. High. Counselor Zevix's voice crackled over the comm from his flagship. "Admiral Chun, I must admit that 6 months ago I considered your species to be dangerous primitives. I was half right." Chun smiled at the grudging compliment. "We are dangerous, Counselor, but we're dangerous to the right things. Entity is beginning preliminary consumption patterns," Dr. Volkov reported from the science vessel Newton. "It's trying to drain energy from our nearest star, initiating gravitational interference." The human ships moved in perfect coordination, their resonance. Arrays creating interference patterns that disrupted the entity's feeding tentacles. Stellar energy that should have flowed into the creature's mass instead dispersed harmlessly into space. The entity's response was immediate and terrifying. Its massive form contracted, then expanded, releasing a gravitational shockwave that would have shattered any single world's defenses. "All ships, hold formation," Chun commanded. "This is what we trained for." The combined fleet weathered the assault, their diverse technologies working in harmony. Altarian deflectors scattered gravitational pulses. Centauran shields absorbed energy discharges, and humanity's resonance arrays maintained the delicate balance that kept the entity from feeding. "It's working," breathed Dr. Tanaka from the Einstein. "The creature can't establish a stable feeding pattern. We're starving it." But the entity was learning, adapting. Its attacks became more focused, more sophisticated. It began targeting individual ships with surgical precision, trying to break the cooperative defense. "This is where we find out if unity is stronger than hunger," Sean murmured, watching tactical displays that showed the entire future of galactic civilization. Balanced on a knife's edge, the battle raged for hours. Ships were lost, heroes fell, but the line held. And slowly, impossibly, the Devour entity began to weaken. Cut off from stellar energy sources by humanity's gravitational manipulation, harassed by the combined firepower of 1,000 worlds, it started to retreat. "Entity is withdrawing beyond the galactic rim," reported Sensor Officer Martinez. "Its energy signature is diminishing." A cheer erupted across the combined fleet. For the first time in galactic history, an extinction level threat had been not just survived, but defeated.